I just fell in love and I kept learning and saying yes. That's the beauty of owning a business. You no longer just punch a clock.
What do you wish they knew after everything you've seen and what you're seeing today?
Keep the main thing the main thing. And that's the one thing that I remember that Grant Cardone told me.
Extreme focus seems like what's the unlock.
Hey, I'm Jesse Lane with J Lane Construction. Welcome to This Week in Small Business.
Amazing. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us. If you don't mind, just to get started, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
So
what
I'm
do you do?
Jesse Lane. I own J Lane Construction. I'm the founder and CEO. I started my company when I was 22 years old. I've been in construction since I was 14, found my passion, cut that first piece of wood, fell in love. Maybe it was the man glitter, that sawdust there. But I just really fell in love with it. And I built a picnic table, then a dog house, just like a real house. Then I started working with the guys in my parents' church that built George W. Bush's home and other really, really cool projects there in Texas. And I just fell in love and I kept learning and saying yes. And so I moved to Jacksonville when I was about 19 and I kept in construction this whole time. But when I was 22, I opened J Lane Construction. I've scaled that from, literally $0 to the 8-figure mark, meaning above 10 million bucks. So
Yeah.
it's been
Wow.
quite the journey. That's just Jesse Lane in a nutshell in the last decade or so. Really 18 years in the construction industry. So I'm about 32 years old now. So excited to be here. Excited to share some mad, awesome sauce. So let's do it, bro.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, you said something there that I just want to jump into. So we're talking about a massive amount of scale in a relatively short amount of time, I think one of the things that, I understand is that you're very deep on systems thinking and processes and things that let you scale yourself. So maybe you can start by telling us, what are the ways in which you went into this growth and were able to kind of, leverage, yourself, your skill set more than, just Jesse on his own.
So, bro, fantastic question. At first, it was me just trying to learn everything. It's like I'm this 14-year-old kid. How do I know even what I'm doing? Then I'm 22. How do I even know how to run a business? What I've learned, there's 3 phases. Your first $1,000 is going to come from you working hard, right? Because you can make $1,000 bucks, $20 an hour, whatever, how many hours. Your first $100,000 is going to come from you working smart, right? So then your first $1 million is going to come from you building a team to work harder and smarter than you. But so you have to find those good quality people, right? Because you can't build business, because business is 2 things. It's people first and then systems, but it's kind of like chicken before the egg, because what if you have a bunch of people and they don't have systems? You're going to fail because it's going to be absolute chaos. What if you have a bunch of systems but no people to run it? It's going to be you running it, and that's going to be absolute chaos. So it's chaos either way, right? So how I thought, I was reading these books like E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber, absolutely changed my life in the sense that it was saying everything that was already inside of me. I'm like, oh, other people actually think this way. How can I put an operations manual in front of my new employee and have them know A to Z what their role is and exactly everything to do step by step? Step number 1, screenshot arrow. Step number 2, screenshot arrow. So that's how I've kind of started building out. It's very simplistic. A lot of it is Loom. Some of it's Loom videos. Some of it's a paragraph on a page. Some of it is bullet points. Some of it's checklists. Some, it's the screenshots with the arrows. It's downloadable buttons with template files in a Squarespace website that I built. So I have jlaneinternal.com. It's a password protected website that only my employees have access to, that hosts what does a project manager do at each thing: superintendent, admin, tech, Apple computer training, how to use Gmail, how to do this, every single Gmail setting, every single builder trend, which is your project management software, how to pay subs, how to sign lien waivers, how to send a proposal, how to estimate a project with our estimating spreadsheet. That's a downloadable template.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I make on jesselane.com, JESSELANE.com. I sell, it's like a $5,000 product, but I sell my whole systems website template in a Squarespace template, and you can just have it like turnkey, all the systems that I've built. It's really cool. That's one of my
Very
biggest
cool.
offerings that has changed so many people's lives. But yeah,
So take one step back here. So one thing that I heard, or actually what I didn't hear, is in all the things that you use to onboard folks and get them kind of up and running, they're all recorded or transcribed or kind of they're artifacts, right? So it's not you getting up in front of a room every
right.
single day of the month to say the same thing. You've actually found a way to do it once and then allow that thing to duplicate itself every time you need it. It's almost like you just got a playbook that
It's a
just
playbook, bro. And it does need to be updated. There's
yeah.
always updates, but that's what the role of a CEO is keep your
Mhm.
people encouraged, provide the vision for the company, and update your systems. That's the core of business. Is like
Yeah.
a lot of these GCs, man, they'll just start out and they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of work myself. They're there, screwing the framing together, painting. When you turn yourself into that $20 an hour employee, even 40, even 50, I mean, even 100, bro, your time is worth $1,000 an hour. Like
Mm.
once you get that into your head, because if you want to make $1 million a year or whatever, if you want to do 10 million bucks gross revenue, what's your cost of goods sold? Maybe it's 7 million bucks. Then if you have 2 million bucks of overhead, that's $1 million net profit, but you have to have the people, and
Yeah.
then, or can you make a little less money? Maybe you can make 500,000 and you have more people, but you're going out to dinner with your wife. You're going to take
Well,
vacations
yeah.
every single
That's a
weekend.
choice.
There's a kind of a balance of like,
Yeah.
because at this point, I have a COO, Ron,
Mhm.
that I check in with. And really, he's my main point of contact. I mean, I'm in the office. Sometimes I'm not. A lot of times, really, I'm not. And I actually went like 6 months, like without even going to the office, like very recently. That was kind of a little unhealthy because I realized like, it was fine, but it could be so much better if I was just there. So
Mm.
I have been making a point to, spend 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 hours in the office, just kind of, that's a recent approach. I kind of got back into the office. So yeah, hopefully I'm kind of running off on stuff, but man, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. No, I mean, first of all, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had that this would have plugged right into, people figuring out like how present do I need to be? How can I empower people to get things done without having to check in with me? So I feel like there's a kind of a bunch of universal problems
Bro, it'll change your
that
life.
you're.
Yeah.
So tell me, just before I talk about the people part, because that's obviously a pretty important part of the equation. At what point is it overkill to have a playbook? And what point did you think like, okay, this is when, if I could redo it, like this is how you start feeling the need to actually, systematize things, as opposed to, I've had a couple of conversations with folks that, I made this whole playbook and I had like one employee and like, it didn't matter. It was just so much quicker for us to just talk to each other. But then you get stuck with 15 and all of a sudden you realize like, I can't, you're being torn apart. So how do you find the balance? Like when does someone have that trigger in their mind, say, I need to either find the playbook or build it myself, but I need some tooling here?
Yeah. So, well, I don't think there's anything called over systemization. And I think that's kind of what you're asking is like, when is enough? Like, when do you stop creating systems? Am I hearing you
And also
right?
when do you start? When do you
When do you
when do
start?
you feel
Okay.
the need to say I
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
probably be getting a
So
playbook at this point?
on the back end, I don't think you can ever have enough systems because you can
Mm,
have a search. My internal website has a search bar, but it's also very organized. Like if I'm a project
yeah.
manager, I go to the project manager folder, and under that is submittals, RFIs, pay applications, just everything, building schedules, everything that you need to know as a project manager, and the project manager overview, which is
Yeah.
literally everything that you need to know with a quiz at the bottom, and it goes straight to the C-suite email. Now, when to start doing systems,
Mm,
not necessarily right away, because honestly, bro, like in the beginning, say first 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years, you're going to be doing everything yourself. There's
yeah.
kind of like no if, ands, or buts about it, unless you have a bunch of money. If you're starting with money, then you can buy your own time back by hiring people.
Right.
So that's the beauty of owning a business is you no longer just punch a clock. You are buying your own time back from other people. So
there's a mindset switch though that you're
Yeah.
talking about there, right?
Yeah.
Like at one point you had to have the mindset that I don't necessarily need to do everything, right? And I don't think a lot of people get that sometimes, right? I think there's a lot of I think folks who like I got to do it all, right? Like that's me. I got to lead by doing, and you
Yeah.
almost telling people stop that.
Yep. There's almost kind of this like, oh, I'm going to be the first in the office. I'm going to be the last in the office, like every single day. And then I'm going to lead by example. And it's like, bro, you're the CEO. Like you need to be out getting vision. You need to be out selling. You need to be out marketing.
Yeah.
You need to be on Instagram, YouTube, X, whatever. I don't even get on there. But you need to be on all the social media platforms, busting out TikToks, bro, like Reels, everything. So if you don't have a YouTube channel, you're going to miss out. And if you don't know technology, you're going to miss out. If you're not spending your time learning and opening your mind, especially these older contractors, bro, it's a struggle. Maybe, my COO, I think he's a 50s or 60s kind of guy, but he's there. Like he was on Lotus 123, so he can macro spreadsheets, he can look up all that stuff I don't even know about, but like he is a tech guy. And so he understands software, but that's what I look for in employees is that quality. That is the number one quality besides communication and people skills is technology.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are missing out by, not utilizing it.
Yeah. So let me maybe take just a step back here.
Yeah.
Thinking about, your journeys, what you've seen other folks do, what do you think that, entrepreneurs in the construction industry tend to get wrong about the industry when they get started? Like, what do you wish they knew after everything you've seen and what you're seeing today?
Right. I mean, I kind of been preaching on it, but honestly, it's technology. Like the contractors, I wish they knew how to set up Gmail templates, how to snooze emails, how to just report something as spam or schedule send an email or set up Siri reminders, right?
Yeah.
Say, oh, someone asks you to do something. Yeah, I'll handle that. And you just go back to what you're doing. No, just hold your phone button and say 2 words, remind me to, it's really 3 words, remind me to, and then say what the thing is and then give her a time in a day. And then manage that in your Siri Reminders app. It's not called Siri Reminders app. It's just called your Reminders app.
Yeah.
That thing right there, if you actually want to be successful and get stuff done, set up technology to work with you. My phone is my number one tool. I love it. If I'm sitting there in bed, I don't have to turn the light on, wake my wife off, scratch on a piece of paper. It's just like I can type in a Reminders app as well. But throughout the day, remind me to send that follow and snoozing an email. I just had a 36,000 square foot Office Depot client, whatever, call me because I had sent this email that I had snoozed 3 months before on this email chain, and I'd snoozed it for yesterday. And I almost was like, nah, I'm busy. Like, let's just snooze it for another 2 months. I'll follow up with them then. But I felt this thing inside of me, almost like God was saying, like, yo, just send the email. So I clicked undo button on Gmail, like, because I'd already snoozed it for 3 months, like further. I pulled it back up. Yo, hey guys, like any update on your project? He calls me today. Like your email was perfect timing. Like, I don't know what it was. Like we got this 36,000 square. So anyway, I just think like ChatGPT, project management software, DocuSign templates, like anything, like stop sending me PDFs, bro, or stop sending other people PDFs that especially aren't even fillable and let alone subcontractors or other people in the industry don't even know how to do that. But make everything easy for the other person. That's the thing I think people, to answer your question, is what people are missing is utilizing technology to make things easy for themselves and makes things easier for other people. For example, a DocuSign template, it's like if there's a thing that always gets filled out and you need someone to fill it in, spend the time. This is the main thing right here. People are not willing to spend the upfront time, right? For the long-term gain.
Yeah.
They're always like, well, I'll just do it faster myself. And then they say, I'll do it faster myself. And then they say, I'll do it over and over. And they don't just say, you know what? Stop. I've done this twice now. This third time, I'm going to spend triple the amount of time or quadruple the amount of time and build a system. Step 1, open the Google Doc. Step 2, etc., blah, 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 screenshot error, whatever, build everything that they do out into a system. Then watch what happens when you onboard your employee. They have a question, just review that doc. And if you have any questions, I'm right here, bro. But you spend 5% of time versus 100% of your time.
If there was one tool that you could tell every business owner that hears this, say, give yourself a week to just master this tool. Like, this is the one you got to invest in. If you're going to do what would be the thing that you say, you got to just start here. This is the most important thing right now for you to wrap your head around.
Other than technology in general, I would say it would be communication.
Okay, so let's go deeper. So tell me, what about community? How do they invest? How does someone invest in community? And what's the impact of doing that?
Yeah, so maybe like, I'm not sure if someone would need like public speaking classes or whatever. I've never taken any of that stuff. I just kind of have a personality. And I'll be honest, bro, I have anxiety ever since COVID. Like, I've never been an anxious person. And I'll just put it out there to the world. Like, I've been struggling since I had COVID. Like, my heart will start beating. I feel like sometimes some cold sweats. Like, I'll have anxiety attacks like right before like certain interactions or like getting up on stage or like whatever, like things I've never really felt before. But maybe it's God kind of telling me like, hey, bro, like other people feel this way. Cause I'm always like, bro, like what's wrong? Like, just get out there and just make YouTube videos. Like, stop being a little whatever. Cause like, just put the camera on, turn the lights on, put your mic on. It's like, so some people I'm experiencing it. Some people, and I'm understanding that some people might have these struggles, but I think the number one thing as far as communication, bro, the more, if you make 100 videos, your communication level is going to skyrocket. Once you make 2 or 3, I've made probably close to 600 or 700 videos across just all my different like channels that I've had in my life. Like long form YouTube videos. That doesn't include like Instagram Reels. That has nothing to do with Instagram or anything like that. But the more that you put reps in, the better communicator. Now I can't even speak. The better communicator that you're going to be.
Okay, so at bats, right? Wherever you can, get your at bats. What's the most exciting tool you're using right now? Like, what is the thing?
Like a software tool?
Software tool that you're just like this. I'm like enamored. This is like, I love. This is like the hotness right now.
I mean, everyone's talking about ChatGPT. I think it's using it with just tactfully. I think slamming a ChatGPT thing together and just copy and pasting everything that it said. I have a couple YouTube videos where I kind of just like, I'm dying here. I want to upload every week and I want to be consistent. So just write me a script on like this thing. Yeah. And I did a couple like 3 or 4 videos of like kind of like that. And I was just like, let's just get a teleprompter. I'm like, okay, so blah, blah, blah. And I sound like I was talking like a robot, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you want to use it, but that really is a cool tool. I mean, AI in general is fantastic, outstanding, and it's only going to get better. You can make videos in AI. You can maybe in the future, bro, I'm seeing like robots that go around and like help pre-construction, right? Like maybe they go measure the space, and everything's AI driven. And I think Clay, my project manager, who's he's transitioning into my sales role now. He's my only sales guy. So him and I work together. Anyway, he was saying to me like, bro, like one day it's literally going to be us as the architects using AI. So I was like, what? Because like that would be so crazy. Like you just put in the parameters, this long, this wide, the mechanical needs this, the electrical needs this. You need a 400 amp panel with this many branch circuits because we have this many levels of MRI equipment. Like right now we're building a ground up MRI imaging center, 6,000 square feet, millions of dollars for Ascension Health. But anyway, then we're doing a 24,000 square foot indoor batting cage facility. And we have like 12 or 13 different projects open right now. Just
amazing.
Coffee shops. Like it's really cool. We're turning a Blockbuster into a coffee shop. We're doing all kinds of really cool stuff. Yeah. So I think AI is going to be the biggest thing that we see in the next, 10 years, 50, that it's going to be.
So, I've heard a couple of important themes from you today, and tell me if I got this right. So first, one of the most kind of the fundamental message that I heard from you is there are kind of different phases of your journey as, in the construction business. And, you kind of get those 3 stages. You do the work, then eventually you got, a team of people doing the work for you. So there's that. There's the mindset that goes around that to allowing yourself to release and kind of leveraging. There's the role of tools and systems to enable that. Like it's not just about hero mode. Like it's not like, if I work 3 times as much, I'll get 3 times more done. Then
you'll have 3 times less amount of family and friends.
Yeah, exactly. And still same number of days in the week.
Yeah.
And I think the other one is though, like it just sounds like you're experimenting, right? So, ChatGPT's been around like a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And you're already talking about like, I've tested it here. I didn't like the way it sounded there. I found my sweet spot with it. So there's almost like you're even spending cycles deliberately wasting them so that you're like, but every 1 in 5 of those gives me something golden that I can take back. So there's actually a whole mindset that you have of like trying and testing new things that with no immediate understanding of how it's going to work, but you just have that, laboratory going on
Right.
saying like, eventually I'll just hit something. Is that a fair
That
articulation?
is pretty, yeah, it's a fair assessment. It's nonstop in my brain always. And I've had to really work on a therapeutic level here for the people watching. It's like I've really
Yeah.
had to work as a business owner. You're going to find that whirlwind. So I've actually even had not just running one business, I've even had multiple businesses at the same time running. So it's like you get around the circle in your brain in one business and you got to go to the next business and just think every detail through it. And it's like you're up till 2 a.m. just thinking.
Yeah.
So what I've done recently is just kind of been hacking off real estate, NFT, like just like other businesses that I was like, and ventures that I was starting. I even wanted to start a mastermind group. I was like, oh, this mastermind group, we'll put it together. I've learned, bro, like if I want to like still have like a wife and I still want to have
Right.
friends and I still want to like be able to sleep at night. I still want to like get older. Like I'm like going into my, 30s now. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not like in my 20s. So it's like,
Mm.
I'm not an old guy, but I'm like, I need to kind of start thinking about scaling back as far as, because I could be so much more successful with one thing. Grant Cardone
Yeah.
told me, I had dinner with Grant Cardone. He's like, he asked me about J-Lane Construction. He asked me about J-Lane Properties. He asked me about all these different businesses. He's like,
Yeah.
keep the main thing the main thing. And that's the one thing that I remember that I'll never forget that Grant Cardone told me. And then a couple other like business mentors told me like
Yeah.
in the following months. I'm like, okay. And my wife's telling me, I'm like, okay, this is like someone's trying to say something here on a higher power. Like, bro, focus in.
I
Yeah.
love it. Last question for you, Jesse, and I appreciate your time here.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about what got you to, the 8-figure mark. So what gets you to the 9-figure mark? Like what's the transformation that you're going through now to
Ooh.
get you to the next level?
Oh my gosh, man, that is such a good question. And I don't have an immediate answer because I haven't done it. It's like, bro, like you talk about me testing this and testing that and bringing on these people. I just hired another estimator today. So I'm always learning how to scale. I'm always learning how to really look at the profit and loss and see, and not just a profit and loss, because that's kind of looking back, but you want to see, it depends if you're cash or accrual, but you want to see
Yeah.
what projects you have coming up, what the cash flow is going to look like on those projects, monthly. What do you have to pay the subs monthly? What is your overhead nuts per year? Divide by 12, just figure everything out. That what are your costs,
Yeah.
really understand your financials, and then kind of move forward to see how you can hire, how you can scale, and how you can market more, which I built a whole online course, by the way. You talk about me like working late into the night, like how to market your construction business on jesselane.com. People could get that. And it's a 30 module course about everything I know about how to market your construction business. So it's a fantastic masterclass that I put together. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those masterclasses, like how to start your construction business or how to
Yeah.
estimate projects or how to project manage. And then of course, sales as well. And I just want to mention here, I have Contractor Summit 2023 happening in October. So I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but Contractor Summit, my event in Jacksonville, Florida is coming up. So that's exciting.
We'll put the links. We'll get the link tree for all of those to put them
Got
around
Tom Reber.
around the show.
You know who Tom
Yeah,
Reber is? Mike Claudio, like a bunch of cool contractor guys coming. So yeah.
Very cool. Look, it seems like you, by the way, maybe this is a prediction, maybe it isn't, but it seems like you kind of had the hint there. Extreme focus seems like what's the unlock for at least some next level of yours, right? You seem to be getting these signals that
Yeah.
That is like to take all that horsepower and just put it in one place.
That's
it seems
it.
Like you gotta
that is the answer. You've said it. You've pulled out what I've been kind of saying, and you put it in one sentence, bro.
I love it. Awesome, Jesse. Thank you so much. So look, you said it once, say it again. Where can people find out more, get in touch?
At Jesse Lane, JesseLane on Instagram, and then just Jesse Lane on YouTube. Just type in Jesse Lane, bro. You'll see me.
.com, you said.
Yeah, JesseLane.com, of course, is a great spot to buy like templates and courses and coaching from me, everything like that. So yeah.
Amazing. I thank you very much. This was a real fun.
This was fun.
It's a real fun conversation. I love your energy.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.